So, many of us have been brought up with the idea that if you're just respectful to everyone, if you are just kind to everyone, if you treat everyone with dignity, then you will be treated with respect and dignity, and other people will value this and reciprocate. This is not true. Let me explain why. First of all, let's think about what even means to be treated with respect. Um, a lot of people conflate the idea of being polite and the idea or polite or comfortable with respect. Um, those are not necessarily the same. Someone can absolutely be polite and absolutely be, you know, perfectly mannered, but they might not even see you as a human. They might not respect you. For example, teachers are often like this, like HR people in business. Um, it's a very common thing in our society. Like sales people, even anyone at the cash counter. Uh, like there might be oh, like handling your order perfectly, but in reality they might be very drained and they might be thinking like, oh my god, another fucking retarded customer. I'm gonna kill myself if I hear this question again. So internally they don't need to respect you to be polite. Uh, being polite uh, is something they do to stay within um, the realms of what is socially acceptable. Um, so someone can act within what is socially acceptable and still hate your guts and still disrespect you, and still think that you're worthless and pathetic. So, I guess it's worth to define respect. So, respect is when someone thinks they don't need to like you, they don't need to think well of you, but they will think highly of you before uh, challenging you, if that makes sense. They will think that let's say someone's debating with you, right? Or you're debating with someone. If you respect them, you are going to listen to their points. You're going to consider their view because you don't come in there with the position that they're incompetent and retarded. Uh, or you might respect them for other things. You might respect their effort or whatever. But even that is a little bit deceptive. No one really respects effort. Uh, in the way that people make it out as if they do. It's like, oh, I respect him because he tries. It's like the most two-faced thing you could ever say because usually it implies that you think that they're disabled and they're so fucking disabled that the only thing you can respect them for is that you haven't, just like killed yourself and that you're still existing. I respect that he tries. It's like the most disrespectful thing you could say whilst making it look respectful. I respect the effort. It's complete disrespect to your character and it's respect towards the fact that you still haven't given up, which is inherently it has some implications about how they see your character. So respect, what is respect? It is when someone, when looking at your character, um thinks it's worth something, thinks there's something to uh reason with, something to um keep in mind, something potentially dangerous, something that could in some way have actual material backing or consequences. Um, for example, if you're debating with someone and you don't like what they're saying, but if you respect them, then you will deepen, uh, in maybe not even consciously, you will still consider their point of view and uh, be worried that it might be true and you might be wrong. You might consider their judgment to be valid. You'll have a higher weighting on their judgment. So there, it's impossible to say you respect someone but have zero weighting on their judgment. If you think they're wrong about everything, and if you think they're just incapable of forming a solid, coherent thought and there's no reasoning, then you cannot respect this person unless you respect the power that they hold or whatever, something like that. You might have an incompetent, stupid boss, but you have to respect his position because he's your boss. He can, you know, financially fuck you up. He can kick you uh, from your job. He can ruin your career. He can make you unemployable if he really wanted to. So you might respect the power that he holds over you, but you won't respect the person. So respect um, does not apply directly to only people. So respect can be to people, respect can be to entities, and respect is when you think something holds some power. So if you respect people, it's how intelligent or how strong their characteristics are, or how powerful they are as people. Not in a social context, but as in who they are individually. You'll be like, oh damn, this guy has perseverance. Um, and you mean it genuinely, not in the way that you think, they're disabled, but at least he has perseverance. Um, then that's how you respect people and entities. You can respect positions of power. You can respect certain mechanisms. For example, um, you can respect. Okay, this will seem extremely ludicrous, but you respect the rules of nature by believing that if you jump off a building, gravity will accelerate you and you will die. So you respect gravity as an entity. You respect the rules that you um, exist with. And some people don't respect those and they try to break them, and they pay a high toll a lot of the time because some of those rules are absolute and you will never win. Okay, so respect is something that you think holds weight or value. Why is respect, why can you not earn it by respecting other people? Like a lot of people seem to believe or say, oh, just be nice to people and they'll be nice back. It's the biggest form of bullshit ever. It's just not true. Um, because if you don't make yourself an entity in their eyes that has a lot of value, that has a lot of weight, and you and you're respectful to everyone, everyone's going to walk over you. Uh, for example, in social settings, um, Or there's a saying, nice guys finish last. Or in social settings, in friend groups, the guy who's always nice and always respectful and uh, never lashes out, those guys end up being like bullied the most. Those guys end up being the ones to get picked on because they don't retaliate. Why, uh, and not retaliating signals to the other people that these people have no, um, there's no weight there. They can't stand up for themselves. They're like a weak straw, and it's just free real estate of dominance. It's like, oh, this person is weak, because he won't fight back. Therefore, I can just take jabs at him, and it will be free elo. And a lot of people do this. And generally, um, and there are people that won't do this, and there are people that will do this. Let's break up the types of people that will do this. Generally, the people that are low dominance, uh, they will. Let's classify low dominance and high dominance. High dominance are people that relatively they can just pick anyone and they will be able to, dominate them. It doesn't matter because they exceed everyone in skill. To them, everyone is free elo. So it's not even a special or unique thing for someone to be low dominance. To them, everyone is like that. So don't feel the need to assert it as much, um, as much locally because they have access to this resource consistently. Low dominance people are people that within the social hierarchy are relatively low and nobody respects them. And when they find someone lower than them or someone that is unwilling to fight or some opportunity, they will always, they will generally try to use it to increase their own self-value. Where does this occur? This occurs where people often talk behind the back of other people. This happens when, let's say you have a group of friends and there's one guy who's always, getting the shit because he's retarded, right? And if you ever observe this guy, if he ever finds an opening or someone in a moment of weakness, that guy always go all in. He also uses all his abilities in real life, and um, those people can be extremely cruel. Do I bring up? No, fuck it. I'm not bringing up example. Uh, I have a lot of real life examples where I have taken it upon myself, who had relatively high dominance, to protect someone of low dominance, and then in doing so, the low dominance person perceived me to be weak in that moment because I'm, shielding them from the fucking harassment they're taking. And then the low dominance person would fucking attack me. And this happened a couple of times, and it made me realize that a lot of the time these low dominance people are just lesser people. There's not a lot of positive attributes or qualities to them. Just because they're weak does not make them worth protecting. A lot of the time those people are disgusting if you actually give them the chance to show themselves. And that is why they're getting bullied. That is why they're low dominance a lot of the time. Uh, it was something that really changed my point of view on this. So, okay, so respect isn't earned with respect. It is earned by um, how dominant you are, and how dominant you are determines how much weight or how much uh, power you might hold. And generally, low dominance people are more aggressive towards people that respect them. High dominance people tend to appreciate respect a lot more, and they will very rarely um, lash out on someone that is respectful to them. But they will also have a much higher threshold of respect that they will demand from you because they are aware of their position. So, for example, actually, I don't need to do an example. Uh, okay, it's not always true for people in positions of high dominance because a lot of the times it's a weak person in a high dominance position, and those people will just lash out on anything because they have some things to compensate for. They're always at a, it doesn't matter how successful they become materially, they will always be at a deficit of this resource. So they will always attack, uh, given the chance to. Uh, but if you have someone who does have this, they're gonna be generally they're gonna be a little bit more chill. They don't really care as much. They don't feel the need to pounce in every single opportunity. But if they feel disrespected, you're gonna get 10 times worse. They generally they have a choice on who to attack, and they attack ones that are disrespectful to them the most. While ones that are low dominance don't have a choice who to attack, and they can't retaliate against ones that are disrespectful most of the time because they're so low down the uh, dominance chain that they just need to attack anyone that is possibly showing any signs of weakness, which is a lot of the time people that respect them. What else is worth explaining here? Is respect is earned with respect? How do you earn respect? Um, how do you attain this dominance? I mean, there's a few factors. There's the physical, like the entities, the amount of physical power that you hold. Um, well, physical, not just like your body, your muscles, it's all your height. It's also things like, if you're someone's boss, if you're a source of someone's like livelihood, if you're whatever. So there's going to be the position, they might respect the position that you hold. That's always going to be a big factor. And then as a person, they might, and as a person, what do people respect? They respect traits that they think are um, traits that make you strong. For example, okay, there's some nuance to this. Because, okay, I'll explain how it should be in natural circumstance, and then I'll explain the why that isn't always true, um, especially in modern society or some circles. So generally, people respect things like self, um, if you have like high self-worth, as in you don't really take shit, you're not really influenced easily, you're not easy to manipulate into feeling a certain way, into responding a certain way. And if you have a high standard for how you're meant to be treated, like, for example, if you have certain boundaries that you won't compromise with, for example, you're talking with someone, and then they might have like a temptation to do something disrespectful towards you. I don't know. They might want to do something that you severely dislike. I don't know, make some like I don't know. I I would say a joke, but in reality, it's usually not that. A certain type of comment that you personally you've made it clear that you have no intention of listening to this or tolerating. For example, someone's talking about their dog, and you're like, I don't care about dogs. Please don't talk about dogs. I don't want to hear about dogs, right? And this person who you've just said this to is going to be faced with two things. What does he want to do? Talk about dogs. Um, and a part of him might feel like it's also a little bit of a okay, so I'm not gonna go that far. So he wants to talk about dogs, and you don't want to talk about dogs, and you've made it clear. If he thinks that he can get what he wants without you leaving or without you hurting him, he has no reason to not talk about dogs. For example, if you in his life don't hold any significance, um, then and that's most for a majority of people, the thing that makes you hold significance isn't who you are as a person, it's the position that you hold. So, for example, um, someone random told you to not talk about dogs, you're like, fuck you, I don't care. Like, I can talk about dogs. That doesn't, you don't have any power over me. It doesn't change my life if I don't. And this person like storms off and leaves, doesn't matter, right? But if your partner or something is like, don't talk about dogs, and then you start talking about dogs, and they make it clear that they're gonna leave if you talk about dogs, then now it's someone who has a lot of worth to you locally, and because of that, if you talk about dogs, there is going to be consequence. Uh, if they have high self-worth, if they're willing to act out on punishing you for acting against their interests. If you don't act on this, then the message that they get is I can talk about dogs, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and you don't really have any reason to not talk about dogs because this person who hates listening about fucking dogs doesn't have the backbone to leave. They don't have what it takes to be able to act out the rules. They don't have um, either the personal attributes that would allow them to do so, or they might not have the power to do so. And so respect comes from like these things combined, if that makes sense, not in isolation. It's about the power to do something and your ability to enact that power as a person. Okay, let's talk about examples where you might have a lot of power, but power is relative in a sense. So, for example, you might be I don't know, like a very successful businessman or something, right? You're successful in a certain field. You know, I'll make it even more simple. You're successful in some form of sport. You're a really good basketball player, and someone who cares a lot about basketball, uh, if you are an extremely strong basketball player, let's say you basketball athlete, through the lens of someone who wants to be good basketball It's too long. Let's just say cares. Let's just say cares or doesn't care. Uh, doesn't care. So you're a basketball athlete, and you might have tremendous amount of insight on basketball that you could offer people. And you have people that care about this, and people that don't give a fuck about basketball. And the person that doesn't care doesn't really have a reason to respect you because even though you might be very high status, very epic, blah blah blah, they don't really have a reason to respect you because the thing that makes you them respect you is the insight that you can provide, aka the value that you could provide to their lives. And therefore, if they disrespect you, that means losing that potential benefit that you could provide. And if they don't care about the benefit that you could provide, they don't want that particular thing, they have nothing to lose by disrespecting you. So unless they you have something that they want, generally they don't have a reason to respect you in the first place. So you could be the strongest person ever, you could be the most competent person ever across all the different fields. If someone doesn't have an orientation towards those things, they will never ever respect you. If anything, that is actually going to have the opposite effect, because generally people that don't have an orientation towards um, let's just say towards development, right? Development orientation. Let's say they usually have like a anti or repulsion to development. You can observe this in your day-to-day life in how people treat gym goers or how people treat just in general rich people or successful people. You'll have some people that will look at those people and be like, "Damn, that's cool. That's inspiring or whatever." Other people look at it and be like, yeah, dumb steroid users, ha 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 ha, or corrupt rich people, ha 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 ha. Uh, them having high dominance in that field is repulsive to those people because they, in their own values, in their own view of the world, have labeled this as something as they've not made it a compass. They're going in the opposite direction. They think, for example, their priority in life might be comfort, right? And to them, going to the gym is obviously not comfortable. It's something that ruins comfort. And when they look at other people that are doing that, they think of people that are not just not providing any value to them, it's the people that are providing value that they think is useless. And that is that becomes even stronger. Like these people go out of their way to be disrespectful. They'll go and on purpose just start hating uh, because of this difference in values. So can you make everyone respect you? Mm, only if you have direct control over their uh, financial situation, or if you have direct control over, direct power over them. Good luck accomplishing that in today's society, unless you're a politician or something. Uh, Even as a politician, good luck doing that. So in practice, for a vast majority of us, it's not attainable. You can't make everyone respect you. You gotta understand that some people will appreciate what you offer, and some people won't. And the people that will appreciate you will have an interest in what you offer, and therefore they will have a reason to respect you. And some other people will not. And it's as simple as that. You have nothing to offer to certain people, therefore they have no reason to respect you. It's just that simple. There's nothing you can do to gain their respect, except for giving up your values and taking up the values that they have. For example, if you were an athlete and someone else respects comfort, then what you need to do to get their respect is you need to drop being an athlete and uh, become like them. For example, people that are very jealous of the rich, or people that are very always making fun of the rich, how do you make them respect you? You basically just need to give all your money away to charities and then become poor. And then they'll be like, "My guy, he's poor, like us, our man. I respect this." So, to each their own. Um, Most of the time, it's not worth giving up your values to gain respect, unless that is something you genuinely think will benefit you long term.